my name is Bill Farrell. I work for Port Technical Training Institute, and New York Shipping Association hired us to train crane operators in these brand new GlobalSim simulators. It's such a big place between New York and New Jersey. You get everything. Since the new Panama Canal opened up and they raised the Bayonne Bridge, we've gotten the larger ships, the post-Panamax ships that didn't used to be able to come here. Now they can. Both simulators do STS, ship-to-shore cranes. The one behind me can be converted into an RTG, and the one other machine is a Strad. That's how I have it set up now. We have a dozen or more scenarios set up that I've built over time. When the student first comes in here after he passes the 3 tests in the class, it's a very simple scenario. Take some containers off the dock, load them on a ship. Take a container off the ship, load it onto the dock. And then we ramp it up from there to get a little more difficult as the day goes on until the end of the first session, where I have a number of containers lined up on this dock between the legs and in the back reach, and they have to load them on the ship in a particular order and a particular time. If we see a trainee is good right from the start, we'll throw some faults in on him and see how he handles them. The next 2 simulator sessions, there are built-in faults. We have little weather built in. Sometimes by the 3rd day, we see the guy's real good. We know he's going to pass the test. We know he's going to be a good operator. And we'll stop messing with him, throwing in a little high winds. The optimal path is also another feature that's on the simulator. You can turn it on and turn it off. After every move, an optimal path shines up on the screen, and the operator could go up and look at it. There's lines that you're supposed to be between. You go too high, you're wasting time. You go too low, you'd have the potential of crashing into something. So if you keep it somewhere between the optimal path lines, that's what we try to stress. The controls are very realistic. We've had operators from all the different terminals come in here and go, our flipper button is someplace different. Well, yeah, it's going to be someplace different every time you come into a different crane. Just like you come into a different car, the radio button's going to be in a different place. But as far as realism, they're real. These are real controls. This is what you're going to find out there on some cranes. Other cranes will be a little different, but basically the same. Instructor Station is great. We could look at anything. A student might be saying, oh, it's not doing this. Well, press the button. I am pressing the button. No, you're not, because I can see I have a mimic board. I can see all the buttons that are pressed. And oh, yeah, I'm not pressing the button. I'm pressing the wrong button. So we could see everything they do. We have the camera that we can see their hands. We have the mimic board that we can see what buttons are pressed and what switches are in the proper position. And the camera angles are great. We could watch how they lock up and how they land the containers. We have, on STS, we have 5 different camera angles we could look at, and we could set that camera angle according to those joysticks any way we want. We also have motion, where we could press the button and the camera will follow the crane as it moves and the trolley as it moves. And there's a drone view that we could use that flies over 5 different camera angles that we could see exactly how they're operating the crane. The main thing they want to teach here is swing. And we could set that to as stiff as we want or as loose as we want, but where we have it set now, according to the operators that have told us, it's very realistic. So teach them how to catch the swing and teach them not to crash into things, which is a problem. You damage containers, you damage the crane equipment itself, which costs money and downtime. Any amount of extra training you can get is always good. All the different container terminals in the Port of New York and New Jersey, if they want to get a crane operator trained, they send all their potential trainees to NYSA, and we train them here on the simulators. Before the simulators, there was all hands-on training. There was no pre-training. Now we train them to the point where they could cut out a few days of hands-on training, which is hard to get out there because the cranes are unloading ships. And when they're not unloading ships, maintenance has to get to them. And then when they're not being used for those 2 purposes, then they could do the training. So if you could free up a couple of days where they don't have to do the training hands-on, they could do it in here and be that much ahead of the game, that's an advantage, cost savings to everybody.